Sund looked the student up and down in the typical way for his people, moving his whole head rather than his fixed eyes. He sighed in his inhuman way at the back of his neck. You do know how strange this sounds, right? The human shuffled his limbs, eyes flicking around the room as it thought. No matter how much he saw it, Sund never could get used to being able to tell where humans were looking. Most species had directional eyes, but only humans had such tightly focused ones, with only a tiny pinprick to let light through. It was a miracle they could see at all. Supposedly, their eyes were incapable of moving in smooth, steady strokes. They even had a medical term for this, though he could not remember it. I guess so. Only because I had to talk to the Dean before she sent me here, though. Let me put it this way. You had to take a galactic course before even applying here, right? So you could speak our language? Yes, sir. What you're asking would be like taking a language course for a language you already speak. It shuffled again, never standing still. This is how we two-leggers must appear to quadrupeds, Sund mused, waiting for the human to respond. If he had some guidance in human body language, perhaps the position of his limbs would tell him something. Alas, the humans were just too new. There was only so much time to study every new species of student, and quite a few new ones had applied this year. That's not as ridiculous as it sounds, sir. The human looked at the floor now, gaze no longer moving. Some kind of submissive gesture, for sure. I know a few people on Earth who took courses on their native language. They wanted to understand more about it. If they already speak their own language, what is there left to understand? Don't tell me this is all for an easy grade. No, sir. Well, it's probably a lot easier for them, but that's not the point. You know how to walk and breathe and move your arms, but you probably couldn't explain them, right? Writing a book on walking would be almost impossible. Yes, I suppose that's true. What are you getting at? Well, I know what it's like to be a human, obviously, but not in a way that I could put into words. I want to take a look at myself. Sund sighed again, longer than before. Obviously, I have no intention of keeping you out of this course. It's all discussions and writing, no physical component, so keeping you out would likely be discrimination anyways. In all honesty, son, I still don't really understand why you would want to do this, but I can't fault your logic. Settling into his chair, Sund watched the human open and close his mouth, then began to lick his lips, before remembering how disgusting most species found such behavior. You can go, he said, waving an arm. Right. Thank you, sir. The human stood bolt upright, an arm raised to his head, in the stiffest human gesture Sund had seen yet, then promptly left. Strange creatures, these humans. Ayos scanned the class as she entered, looking for a good candidate. Enough students had signed up to require a change of classroom, and the new one was much larger, making it correspondingly more difficult to see to the back. Being a species that mostly lived underground, Ayos had trouble seeing large distances. Surgery was of course available to correct her eyesight, but she refused to compromise her species' identity, opting to simply live with the blurriness. Preparing for the new influx had been a nightmare. She had barely slept, skimming her mailbox only just in time to find out about the classroom change at all. Since the course depended on discussions, things would have to be split into smaller groups in order to give everyone a chance to talk. Somehow, though, she wasn't the least bit tired. Start the year with a bang, and you'll have rapt attention every week. There was a blurry pink blob sitting near the back, or what would be the back in a properly sized classroom. No large movements, meaning it was likely bipedal. Wearing clothes, dark spot on his head that was either a small amount of fur or an extremely lumpy hat. Candidate found. Given the usual introductions were so routine, Ayos could do it in her sleep. She sometimes dreamed about it this time of year. Fire exits are that way, read the course outline. You will write 5 papers and the rest of the marks will come from class contributions. Make sure you completed the course requisites, blah, blah, blah. She clapped her hands, startling the more easily bored. So, who wants to see a human? Ears stood up straight, bones rattled, eyes opened wide. Perfect. Ayos wondered idly how many more years she could get away with this little ruse of hers. Believe it or not, we happen to have a human in this very class with us. Her practiced nose not giving anything away, she gestured to her targeted student. All eyes targeted to the poor soul. She'd track it down after class, buy some appropriately expensive drink, then sleep 48 hours, and hope it wasn't mad when she awoke. If you would kindly stand up for the class, thank you. So tell me, what do you all notice? Eos waited for the clamour of voices to start. Picking on one student in particular for the next part was a mistake she only made once. Maybe my hearing is going, but I didn't hear anyone mention the most important thing. You are, of course, she gestured to the student, not in fact a human at all. Ah, the clamour, the uproar, what fun. Keep them guessing and you will have passionate and focused students all year long. It's only the first day, so you have a little leeway with me, but until we have a critical thinking course, I would expect you to speak up when you hear something incorrect. There will be no penalty for being wrong besides the ire of your fellow students. Eos paced back and forth in her element. For now, I will supply the falsehoods, but after we split into discussion groups, you will be creating your own, hopefully by accident. You can sit down now, by the way. The fake human was still standing, waiting to be told what to do, she supposed. Some students from stricter cultures were like that, though it still hadn't sat down. Ma'am, I'm speaking up like you asked. Not sure why you would think I'm not a human, but, I am. The student sat down to confused stares. Eos sighed, running claws through the feathers in her face. I sent you a mail yesterday, ma'am. That was it. If upper management was involved, this might be the last year of the ruse. She hadn't even had time to appreciate it properly. And why exactly would you want to take a course on your species? To learn what everyone else thinks of us, ma'am. Closing her eyes and breathing deeply, Eos clapped her hands once more, surprising nobody this time. So, Lesson 1. Humanity is a species that would voluntarily study itself.